Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. So for this video, I'm going to be walking you through a pretty normal chest day for me, or at least the basics. And as with most of my chest workouts, this one is going to be built primarily around just a good old flat bench press. And I will still do some incline pressing, but recently I've been doing kind of two push days, one of them being a bench press day, whether it's flat bench or incline press. And then I'll do the overhead press as well, which I've been slowly working into my routine because I know my shoulders need to grow. And I think working in some compound movements like the OHP is going to help out, in addition to just doing, you know, my normal dumbbell shoulder press and stuff like that. But regardless, for my bench pressing, usually I will do my pretty standard warm-up of a couple sets with just the bar, a couple sets with 135, and then we're going to go up to what we have here, which is 185. And although I've considered bench press to be kind of one of my strengths, I've been doing two things that have kind of changed that for me. Is that one, I've really been working on my form. I've been trying to have my back be a lot tighter, and I've been trying to tuck my elbows just a little bit more on the way down. You can see I'm working on the arch in my back, keeping my butt on the bench, but also arching my back well, so that my shoulders are protected, and I'm able to drive well with my triceps and with my chest muscles, obviously, but also you can see when I'm pressing, even kind of using my back a little bit to at least start the rep. I feel like if I get my form locked in well, I can actually get the bar almost like started off my chest, like not just with your lats, but you know, by making use of your lats, you can start that drive process, which allows your triceps and chest to really, I don't know, kick in later on in the movement and keep your shoulders from being in a disadvantageous position. My shoulders aren't bad by any means, but I feel like refining my form is going to make sure that things stay strong and allow me to push more weight while also, you know, building muscle, hopefully. Because flat bench has always been one of my favorite things. I feel like when I used to go to the gym when I was younger, I would go in and do bench press every day, and I think that definitely contributed to me having a pretty strong bench press. But like I said, I've been working on my form, changing that up a little bit, but I've also been, you know, dieting down. So sometimes I feel like my dieting phase takes it more out of my legs than anything, but this time I feel like my pressing has kind of suffered more than anything on the diet. Fortunately, my leg training has been going pretty well. We did the 400-pound squat and have done, you know, massive volume work above 300 pounds with leg days. And then, of course, we had our insane Super Saiyan deadlift workout that I posted a video about earlier in the week, training with Sony D, doing deadlifts, and that workout went really well, too. But my pressing, I feel like I've been a little bit lighter on the pressing side of things, which is probably okay. I've been getting in plenty of volume, but as you'll see here, I'm pretty much just working up to, I think, 5 sets of, I would imagine this is going to be 8 at 225, and then I did maybe 5 sets of 5 with 245, and then I backed down and did a couple more volume sets with, I think, 205, just to get the feel right. So I feel like there's an answer to this, and it could just be more chest training in order to get things to feel better, but also the fact that I've just been only doing bench pressing with barbells, and I haven't really been doing any like dumbbell work. I haven't been doing obviously any cables or machines at my home gym, so that could be a factor too. Fortunately, I don't think my chest, in terms of like from a physique standpoint, has suffered too much from this, but it's just interesting to note, you know, how your body changes with different training styles. But I think probably the main thing that's changing that for me and not doing quite as much weight is the fact that I'm changing up my form and the fact that I'm dieting down. That being said, I think that the form changes will definitely be, or definitely make a big difference whenever I decide to start bulking again, start to get a little more calories in my system. Because once that happens and we start lifting heavier, I think that having good form is definitely going to be one of those things that allows me to push more weight more often and do that more safely. Because last time we did our bulk, we got my bench press all the way up to 355, which is actually still insane to me. That being said, you know, my butt did come way up off the bench on that lift, but for a gym PR, I don't really care if my butt comes off the bench as long as I've got my back locked in and everything stays safe in terms of, you know, my shoulders, and we push that weight off my chest, and that's exactly what we did. So learning to keep my butt down is just like a form thing, and I think that's kind of what we're working on here. Is I have a pretty substantial arch in my back, but everything is still making contact with the bench the way it's supposed to. And even if I have to sacrifice a little bit of weight on my pressing right now, I think that really refining this form and kind of nailing that rhythm and nailing being able to get into position and press from a safe position is going to be probably the most important thing, because not only am I interested in building muscle and getting stronger, I mean, I want to be able to do this for a very, very long time. And so making sure that I'm not just putting myself in movement patterns that I can do now but might be problematic later, that's not what I'm interested in doing, right? I want to get myself in movement patterns that are sustainable, that allow me to get stronger and grow muscle and be able to do this for a very, very long time. So that's kind of where I'm at now with my bench pressing. But like I said, just to sort of walk you guys back through the sort of cues, or what they're called. Now, I don't think that my form is perfect by any means, but just some of the things that I've been keeping in my own mind, and that may help you guys out, especially if you're experiencing shoulder pain on bench pressing. I feel like a lot of people come into the Twitch chat and ask me during the workout streams about, you know, that they've been doing bench press and their shoulders are hurting. What can they do about that? So when I lay down to get on the bench, I am trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together, right? Trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together. That's one thing, but that's not necessarily as descriptive as what I'm really trying to do. And I feel like for me, what helps me more than just pulling my shoulder blades together is actually trying to stick my chest out. So if you're like sitting in your chair, standing up right now, you just try to puff your chest out, and that will naturally retract your scapula, right? It's hard to put your chest out without pulling your shoulders back just a little bit. I mean, you can like get your shoulders wide, but obviously at the same time, imagine that you're trying to pull your shoulders back a little bit. And that's the position I like to be in. I like to have my chest pushed out and my shoulders pulled back a little bit, which is also going to flare my lats in a particular kind of way. It's not the flared lats where if you're doing like the, you know, lat spread pose or the physique pose where you have everything nice and spread out like that. It's really more tucked in, but your lats are still going to be engaged because your triceps are almost sitting on your lats. And once you get in that chest puffed out, lats engaged a little bit, triceps down on your lats position, your shoulders should be in a pretty safe spot. And that's kind of where I like to press from. As the beginning of my press almost comes from my lats. So you can kind of see it here. Like my lats are very much engaged here in these presses that are a little bit heavier. You can see them. They'll flex and they'll relax kind of at the top there. You see how my lats are being drawn in, and I have like a big kind of muscle cushion for everything to sit on. Now, I feel like this rep right here, this is one that I didn't like, and the reason why is because you could see my elbows got a little too wide, and that's something I went back and adjusted. So in these next reps, I remember from this workout, in these next reps, I try to be much more mindful about tucking my elbows in closer, and you can see how instead of my elbows flaring out really, really wide, I'm actually able to make use of my lat while I'm pressing. So you don't really usually think of bench pressing as something that you need to be very conscious about your lat muscles in. But that's one of the things that's actually helped me out a lot, is your chest is going to get activated, your triceps are going to get activated, but if you can kind of be mindful about the way you're using your lats when you're pressing, it's going to be a big help to you. And that's another reason why I think that back training has been so important to all of my lifts, right? So you have your back allowing you to lock in your squat. Your back is obviously used in your deadlift, but this is probably my favorite set. Look how tucked my elbows are, and look how much of my lat gets involved in this movement. I feel like lats are definitely one of those things that you can even involve in your bench press to keep you safe, keep you strong, and just kind of structure the rest of your training. So those are just a few things that I try to keep in mind when I'm bench pressing these days, and hopefully that is a little bit helpful to you guys as well. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!